Okay, so I have a free mastering rack for you guys today that I think should be taken pretty seriously. Usually when I see that something's free, I kind of think, okay, this is not going to be that great. This is that great, and I'm using kind of a hack to make it free. Let me explain. I'm using all Toneboosters plugins in this, and I've tested it. When I create a free Studioverse rack using the Wave Studioverse rack system, completely free, download it below. You don't have to subscribe to use this. This is free. Toneboosters plugins work in demo mode endlessly with no noise, full functionality, and allow you to save whatever settings you have as long as they're routed within this rack. So the one thing you can't do with demo software with Toneboosters is create presets, but you can create your own presets using something like Studio Rack or Studioverse, and you kind of bypass that. I'm not saying don't buy the software. I think Toneboosters is amazing. I own everything they have. I suggest you buy their stuff too, but you don't have to. You can use this completely for free using all of their software in demo mode. So with that being said, let me show you how this mastering rack works, how it sounds on a couple different sources. I'll go through each of these, and I think that this can actually replace a lot of plugins you might use, like Master Plan or something like that. So I'll start just by playing this song without processing anything, and then I'll start introducing these. I'll bypass when I make big changes so that you can hear what's going on with the processing.
Every night I think about something I said, something you did, conversations we had, now you're dead. Every day I see your shadow with me, how could this be? Now you're always with me, now you're dead. Sometimes I think about my life and I don't understand nothing, I just know that I love you. Lately, reminded I'm your baby, the DNA that made me. Please just know I love you. Every night I think about something I said, something you did, conversations we had, now you're dead. Every day I see your shadow with me, how could this be? Now you're always with me, now you're dead. Dead, 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 now you're dead. Dead, 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 dead.
So you may have noticed I'm not touching the limiter knob on here, and I'm doing that because I don't want to trick your ears into thinking this sounds way better when it's louder. This limiter is super transparent. It sounds great. Maybe I'll show it a little bit towards the end, but I'm focusing on these because I gain stage this in a way that you're not going to be getting huge level boosts even if you go crazy on some of this processing. Of course, it's not perfect. I can't build auto gain straight into this, but I did my best to make sure you're not going to be getting more than 1.5 dB of gain, even if you're boosting these in a pretty heavy-handed way. So I'm going to play another example now of a more upbeat song, completely different genre, so you can hear how this works. Then I'm going to go through each of these and kind of tell you why I put these here and also explain what I think you could customize to make this fit your sound better. I made this for me. I'm giving it away for free, but everyone has different frequency ranges that they generally like to boost, and obviously you don't always want to boost or cut the same frequencies every time. So I'll show you how you can easily come in here and make some quick changes to make this even better.
I'm only human, not perfect, no. I know I get on your last nerve. I know I live in a fast life. You know you always gon' come first. Tell me this love everlasting. I wanna fuck you with passion. I love you better than him. He just a man of your past tense. Yeah, yeah. Is you trying to make it work or no? Lately I've been on that Adderall. I know it ain't your fault at all. Smoking on that purple got me feeling emotional. Please don't take it personal at all.
So you just saw how quick that was to make some pretty drastic changes, not getting a giant gain boost, which is what makes this so amazing on the mix bus. I'll show you the limiter really quickly, and then I'm going to go through each of these and explain why I put these here and what's going on inside the guts of this thing. All right, I hope I didn't blow your ears off. Didn't want to use the limiter much on this, but just showing you it works and it sounds good. So let me explain what's going on in here, how I use it, and how you can customize it. So I always start with the tape section, which is the beginning of the chain and the middle of the chain in tandem. So I'm using the master bus tape emulation that they have with a little bit of compression. Go ahead and make some changes in here. If you like to have noise or wow and flutter in yours, you can obviously add it. You can also try some of the other algorithms. I found this best for my masters. As you turn up the tape knob, you're just going to be adding the wetness of the tape in. And as you turn it down, it's going to be a fully dry signal. Also with this tape knob, I have an enhancer going. And so the Toneboosters enhancer, I think it's a really cool sound design tool. It's a little tricky to use on the mix bus or master bus because it does affect the bass and mid range quite a lot, even if you're not using it. So I have just the high end on here, which I think gives it a really cool tape vibe if used just at 2%, as you can see with this. So yeah, if you turn the tape knob up all the way up, I think I don't have it going over 10%. So it's very subtle, but it really adds a lot to the signal. After tape, I like to go into the EQ, which is the second in the chain here. And as you can see, I'm using Equalizer Pro, my absolute favorite plugin by Toneboosters. Highly recommend grabbing this one. If you're going to grab any of these and actually pay for it, get this one, because this one is it's amazing. Check out some of my other videos if you want to see the different algorithms going on in here. It's so much more than just a normal EQ. We're affecting the direct signal, the ambient signals, sustains in here. It's like split EQ, fab filter on crack. It's sick. These are some settings that I love for my master chain and my mix bus, but of course, change these frequency knobs. Find what sounds good for your mixes. All these knobs are going to be affecting the gain, but I didn't affect the frequency on any of these. So you can grab one and you can move it up or down however you want it. Completely customizable. So after that, we have the stereo width, which is using another Equalizer Pro, and it's just some frequency ranges that I think the sides sound nice to be boosted on. Again, you can just change the frequency knob and find where you want to actually boost or not, or you can just use it how I set it up if you want to keep it simple. Next, I have multi-band compression, and this multi-band compressor is so nice, especially because it has saturation built into each band that you put in here. And so I usually use a pretty complex 4-band multi-band compressor for most of my masters if I'm using multi-band compression. I didn't think that it translated to most mixes though, so I built a much simpler version with 3 bands, and it works for a lot of genres. It doesn't work for everything, so definitely decide if you want to use the multi-band compression or not. And if you do want to use it, but it's not working for you, a simple way to get it to work for you a little bit better is just by going into these bands and adjusting the makeup gain and the threshold to your taste. Because I had to come up with settings just to link to this one knob, and these settings work for a lot of genres, as I said, but sometimes you're going to be wanting to affect the mid-range, the low end, or the highs in a different way, and you can do that simply by increasing or decreasing the makeup gain, or also switching the crossover point. After that, I have master bus compression, and I'm using their compressor, which is an amazing compressor, and I'm using the SSL style G-Bus comp, 4:1 ratio, just kissing it a little bit, taking off maybe a dB or so as you turn up the compressor. I put in a built-in auto gain to it, so as you compress, it is going to be coming up in level, and it's going to keep you somewhere close to where you brought it in. Again, you can adjust this yourself if you think the makeup gain is too much or too little. But yeah, I also have a side chain in here rolling off at around 150, which is how I like mine, maybe 110, 120. So that's going to be leaving the bass alone, meaning the bass is still going to be compressed, but it's not going to be triggering the compressor. Lastly is the limiter, which I have on the transparent algorithm, and I think it sounds amazing on this. I also have it in true peak mode, which I usually don't do for most limiters, but I thought that the true peak actually sounded kind of nice on this, so I left it on. I highly recommend experimenting with some of the other algorithms you have in here. For example, this loudness plus plus algorithm is super great if you're trying to go crazy loud. I don't know if it's introducing some of the limiting, some of the clipping, which they have over here or what, but you definitely lose some dynamics with it. But if you're trying to go loud, I recommend the loudness plus plus. If you're trying to be transparent and just lift whatever processing you did up, I recommend the transparent mode. And of course, you have attack and release settings if you want to dial that in as well. So there you have it. This is a completely free master chain that will work when you close your session and open it back up. And the reason it's so great is because these aren't all free plugins. It's just kind of a hack on how to use them in a free way. I hope Toneboosters continues to let their plugins work in this demo mode like this, because it really lets people play with these plugins. Because I owned Equalizer Pro for a month while having the demos of all the other ones, and I ended up purchasing all of them because they're just too great not to have. And I want to support a great company such as Toneboosters, so I highly recommend you do so. The download is for free. There's a suggested donation amount for I think like $1, but you don't have to pay that. You can type in 0. That's just if you want to be nice and buy me a coffee today. All right, y'all. I'll see you guys soon.